Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer with over 20 years experience training dogs and people. If you've got a doggy dilemma, Denise can help.
Welcome to another episode of Doggy Dilemmas. I'm Denise Mazzola. This is Jack, and this is Jax and my friend Molly. She's going to be with us today as a slight distraction for Jack to show you how to work around distractions with his different behaviors. The last 3 episodes we've been working on sits, downs, stays, leave-its, some tricks such as rollover. We've worked on the touch command, and I'm going to show you Jack's new trick, which is touching an easy button, which is kind of fun to teach a dog how to do. So what we're going to start with today is leave-its, and I want to show you how to start to introduce these into real life. I've showed you how to start the process of teaching with your hands apart. They learn to leave the scent of the treat. Then you open your hand so the dog can see the treat. Then you start to drop the treat so the dog learns to leave the motion as well as the sound that it might make when it actually hits the floor. So Jack's gotten that pretty well. Now I've started to use it for if he's starting to play too rough with another dog, I will ask him to leave it. If he's looking like he's going to pick up something that he shouldn't, I ask him to leave it. And I always need to be ready with reinforcement still. Jack still, he's not in the beginning phases of his learning, but he's not a college graduate yet either. So today you're going to see I'm going to have a different bait bag, and I'm going to try to keep it on the back of my pocket as opposed to the front, so that I still have my reinforcements ready, but so that Jack isn't so aware that I'm wearing a bait bag, because dogs get very savvy to that. Oh, we're working now. She's wearing the bait bag. I know the games that we're going to play. And the whole point of this type of training is to take it into real life, so that when I was feeding dogs this morning, I dropped a can, I said, leave it. And you don't say it, leave it, you say it usually, leave it, really seriously, because you want the dog to not touch what you've just dropped. And you need to be prepared in those cases when they look back at you like, oh, I understand that command, oh, yay! And then be sure to reinforce them with something else. Over time, you won't need that. You won't need the reinforcement all the time, but until he's a college graduate, he's going to need some reinforcement as well. So I'm going to set up. I'm going to get a plate of food. I'm going to set it on my coffee table, and I'm going to show you how to keep working those leave-its in real life. Okay, let's go, Molly. Come on, Jack. Okay, so here I have a plate of just cut up roast beef that I'm actually using for treats, but I'm not going to treat him from this plate. I'm going to use the treats in my bait bag. Jack. And we've been practicing. So just as if you're putting down a plate of cheese and crackers, leave it. Good boy. And I am going to click and treat him. And I'm going to toss the treat so he just goes away a little bit. And you can see, yes, leave it. You can see that Jack really has this game. So if I sit, good boy. If I sit, it's still a setup situation, right? I mean, the dog still knows I've got the clicker, I've got the bait bag, the cameras are here and all that kind of good stuff. But it does transfer to real life, and this would be very tempting. And when Jack first came, if you all remember that first episode, there's no doubt in my mind that he would have been catapulting onto that plate of roast beef to try to get some. Good boy, Jack. So one of the real important, there's lots of important pieces of dog training, is your consistency. You and everybody in your family need to be absolutely consistent in what your expectations are of your dog. If you want them on the furniture, then everybody wants them on the furniture. If you don't want them on the furniture, then everybody doesn't want them on the furniture. You have to be consistent. The leave it command is a really, really important command. If things drop out of your refrigerator, if you have young children in the house, I'm going to show you how we use it with toys in just a minute as well. Consistency is important. Motivating your dog. Now, Jack, when we're having another wonderful New England snowstorm today, so we won't be able to go outside and show you his recalls. But what I realized working with Jack is that the favorite thing that he likes are toys. So he has a very nice large ball that he cannot pick up with his mouth, so he plays with it around the yard, and he likes to play tug. And those are more valuable to him outdoors than food is, so I've been using those as his reinforcement outside. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pick up my cup of coffee casually. I'm going to walk walk into my kitchen, you won't be able to see me, but you'll be able to hear me. And what I want to do is get out of the picture with Jack and the food, but I'm going to observe him from a distance and make sure that he still will continue to leave that food alone. So just if I'm going into the kitchen to do something, now Jack may follow me, which won't, because he knows I have some great stuff. I'll add a few things to the plate to make it a little more interesting to him. Just like we're replenishing cheese and crackers. Leave it. Good boy. Took a sniff. See, what is that? If I step out again. And when I practice this, I practice this during dinner time. Leave it. Good boy. I practice while I'm making my own dinner and my daughter's dinner. So I have started to use this. My training sessions now with Jack are not quite so set up as we're doing today. It's more in real life what I'm doing with him. Okay, I'm going to take the plate of food away. Good boy, Jack. So now I'm going to show you Leave It with some children's toys that I've picked up. I don't have young children in the house anymore. And so we've been practicing this with Jack so that he'll leave all this stuff alone. Good boy, Jack. You're not going to hear me click and treat all the time. Good boy. Leave it. Yes, good boy. Because a behavior that is reinforced on a intermittent or variable schedule is a stronger behavior. You do not want to become the Coke machine of dog training, which means you're very predictable. It means you always have hot dogs in your bait bag, and every time the dog sits, he gets a hot dog. You're pretty soon going to have a dog that's bored and says, well, you know what, I don't want the hot dog, so I'm not going to sit. And you're not interesting enough. So variable, 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 and that means variable in the treats that you're reinforcing with as well as when you're reinforcing. Hello, Guy. So we're just going to take some of these things out. Jack, it'd be better if you came over here. Thank you. This one makes some noise. Leave it. Good boy. So it's okay that he looks, but we don't want him pawing, biting. I'm going to leave this here so it's easier for me to get to it. Good boy. So you have to sort of think like a 4-year-old. What's the 4-year-old going to do? He might make it go into Jack's feet. Good boy. And Jack needs to be trained and conditioned that, hey, that's okay because great stuff comes my way. I'll put that one aside. Then there's these little pieces. Leave it. Good boy. We can actually use the lie command. Jack, lie. Very good. So he can hang out while we play. Leave it. Good boy. Moving things are much more challenging to him. And noise things. Leave it. Good boy. Good boy. So the point is just to be loud and noisy, chaotic. There'll probably be some screaming and yelling going on, which, oh, look at that. That was great. Leave it. Good boy. All right. Leave it. Good boy. So that one I didn't click and treat. Nice job, Jack. Good boy. Now, I've not told him to stay. He's just doing that on his own, which is fine. But again, he knows the game. If he stays put, good stuff happens. Good boy. And I'm being generous. I'm giving him a small handful of roast beef, not just one little piece. Good boy, Jack. Good boy. Now, Jack is one of those dogs, he'll put anything in his mouth and eat it if you give him the opportunity. So we'll just leave this hanging around, which will be different because I usually pick it up. So we'll leave that out while we do the next thing. Good boy. So the leave it command, anything you don't want the dog to have, you can say leave it to. Anything. And the goal of the behavior is that he looks back at you, and even if you don't have anything, if you don't have a clicker, if you don't have high value treats with you, Make a big deal. Good boy, good boy. Love him, pat him, tell him that he's a great dog. That's so good. That's a good boy. Yes. The dog's like, wow, what just happened? Okay, leave it. Good boy. See his head snap right back to me? That's exactly what I want. That's not that he can't go and sniff them. So we'll let him try again. We'll just let him go and sniff and see what he wants to do. If you're walking on the side of the road and your dog is looking interested in something like a squirrel or something that's going, then you can say leave it for that. When your dog is in full chase mode, leave it. Good boy. Lie. Good boy. When your dog is in full chase mode, there's not a whole lot you can do about chasing the squirrel at that point. Good boy, Jack. And I'm going to click him and treat him because he looked at the camera and he's been barking at that this morning. So we're going to reinforce that. Good boy. Okay, I'm going to get Jack's easy button. This is a fun trick. And this is sort of complicated to tell. I'm going to explain to you what I'm working on with this. I'm going to move the car. He hits the button with his foot, so there is some of, if I touch this with my foot, will I get a click and treat? So the process I used with this is I clicked and treated any motion towards this easy button, and you might have remembered seeing this with Mustang Sally. I did the same thing with her. And then he finally got the idea and started hitting it with his foot. So now what we're doing is putting it under stimulus control, and this is a little advanced training. Most pet dog owners don't need to know this, but if you'd like to, I'm going to tell you how to do that. So now what you're going to see me do is I'm going to give him his command, which is, how is that? And it's really the word that. How is that? He'll hit the button, I'll click and treat him. Every time I give him the cue and he hits the button, he will get a reinforcement for that. When I do not give the command and he does not touch the button, that is equally a correct response, and I will click and treat him for doing nothing, right? Because I've not asked him for the command, he's not done it, which is a correct response, and I will reinforce him for that as well. So Jack's had maybe a few days of this, so we'll see how he does. And I will get my bait bag ready. So I didn't say it, he didn't get up, so he gets a correct response. I didn't say it, he didn't do it, he gets a correct response. How is that? So he hit it with his foot, it did not make the noise, so we have to make sure.
That was easy.
Okay, so I didn't say it, and he did hit it, so I'm not going to click him and treat him for that. How is that?
That was easy.
Good boy. No command, no response, he gets a click and treat. Okay, I'm not going to reinforce that, bumping my hand, leave it.
That was easy.
I didn't say it, right? He shouldn't have touched it, so I'm not going to click and treat him for that either. So I'm trying to catch him now, not doing anything. It's a hard concept for the dog to understand. Good, I didn't say it, he didn't touch it. How was that? Good boy.
Easy.
I'm gonna give him a couple more. Good boy. How was that?
That was easy.
Good boy.
That was easy.
One, two, three. Okay, so I waited until he stopped doing it for 3 seconds. Again, no command, no behavior is a correct response. So you can see it's not under stimulus control, he's still trying.
That was easy.
How is that? So no click and treat for that either. Wait, I'm just gonna move it. How is that?
That was easy.
Good boy. How is that? Good boy. So he hit it, even though it didn't make noise. Good boy. Good boy.
That was easy.
So I didn't ask him for it. That's why I'm not going to click and treat him for it. How was that?
That was easy.
Good boy. How was that? Yes, good boy. Good boy. So that'll be a fun little trick to show the family when he goes back next week, asking him how was that, and he can hit the button and say that was easy. We taught this originally through shaping. There's no way to force a dog. Jack, come over here. Lie. Lie. Good boy. There's no way to force a dog to touch this button if he doesn't want to. So we had to do that through a process called shaping, which is clicking and treating any motion to the button until he actually gets the idea that to start hitting it and to hit it hard enough that it makes some sound. Okay, so let's get rid of the button. Okay, one of Jack's favorite things to do is tug. And this is an impulse. Leave it. Leave it. Good boy. I did not ask him to take it. He cannot take the toy unless I've told him to. Good boy. I'm going to turn sideways. He quivers. He loves playing this so much. So he has to be able to withstand movement. Good boy. Leave it. Leave it. Good boy. His eyes get all dilated when I play this game with him. Leave it. Good boy. So it's very hard when I put it on the floor. Leave it. Good boy. Again, this is impulse control. Good boy. Ah. Leave it. Good boy. Take it. Take it. Release. Take it. Ah, ah, ah. So where is he again? Look at that. He hit my hand again. So the game ends. It's not a mistake when your dog does that. Jack is 1. He's still testing. We'll go back to that after we do some more things. But he loves to play tug. The best discipline or punishment I can give him is that we're not going to play the game. And we're not going to play the game if he continues to hit my hand like that. Now he's off. Good boy. Leave it. Good boy. So here he needs something else to do. Jack, lie. Good boy. He wants to take the tug toy off the dining room table. Games and toys are very important, very motivating to Jack. We've been playing this game with him a lot. And so, why he decided to hit my hand today, who knows? But he's not going to play as long as he does that. So let's try some sits and downs, and I've been doing that right along. So the point I also wanted to point out, he's focused on the tug toy. He's getting up on my dining room table trying to take it away. I could continue to sort of yell at him, Jack, don't do that, whatever. But it's much better I gave him the leave it command. He looked at me. He came back to me. I don't need to reinforce it all the time. I gave him something else to do, which is a lie down. I've not told him to stay, but there is some implied response from Jack that when I ask him to lie, he will stay there for a little while. Good boy. So dogs are very similar to children in that if you don't want them to do something, you need to tell them what they can do. Give them a brain toy, give them another toy, give him something else to do. This is a very busy dog. If he does not have something to do, he will find something to do. And I can guarantee you it is not what I want him to do. He's eating wood off my wood pile in my family room. He's taking the recycling out of my recycling bin and shredding it before I even can get it up to the recycling center. Good boy. Okay, so Jack, sit. So here's the hand signal. Very good. Jack, stand. We haven't worked on that quite as much. Jack, stand. Come on. Yes, good boy. So I will click and treat that. And now I'm going to sit. Lie. Good boy. So he's really great on those commands when there's no other dogs around, but when the competition goes up and we have another dog around, he's not quite as good at his commands. Good boy. So let's try the rollover. And to be honest with you, I've not worked on this week, so we're going to still use a lure. Jack. And lie. All right, so if he's going to lay that way, we'll roll him that way. Good boy. Good boy. And it's important that he gets the treats, so we sort of have to reset him up when he finishes the rollover. Remember, you turn his head to his shoulder. His head goes first. Good boy. And then he goes. See if we can get him to roll back. Some dogs will roll both directions, some dogs will not. Yes, good dog. When you're teaching tricks, you're only limited by your own imagination. Now, if we have enough space, good boy, we could teach him to roll over twice, okay? So that he would roll and roll. Jack seems pretty ambidextrous, so we'll see if we can get him to roll back and forth. Here it is. Still with the lure. Good boy. And then we'll go back. Good boy. One more. So we'll do one more with the lure. Getting stuck like a turtle on your back. Now I'm going to get a treat out, but I'm going to try to do it without the lure. So there's no lure in my hand. Lie. Good boy. We can't do that way into the table, honey. Lie. Yes, good boy. So there it is without the lure, which is nice. You hold your hand just like as if you had food, but you don't. Lie. Good boy. And we'll do one more. Ooh, you're too far away. Come over here. Lie. So whichever way his hips relax is the way that I've been trying to roll him over. That's not going to work into the table. So we'll just lie. All right. Can you go that way? Yes, good boy. Good. So that's another fun trick. I also like to do the rollovers. I don't teach any tricks besides the easy button that require paw movement because I don't want dogs offering their paws to their owners and it gets annoying. They're sitting on the couch and the dog comes up and starts shaking or waving, which can initially be cute, but when they start to offer it a lot, it gets annoying. So let's go back to the tug game with Jack. Wait. Wait. Okay, take it. Yes, take it. So he's up high, but he missed my hand. He's got a lot of other rope he could have chosen to put in his mouth, but he chose my end. Give. Give. Good boy. So I am going to reinforce him. It's very challenging to have a dog that loves to play tug to give it back to you. Take it. Good boy. And I'm also ending the game before he gets completely revved up that I can't get it back. But in this kind of snowy weather, with the deep snow that we have, it's very challenging to get dogs out and exercised. You can get a lot of exercise, get a lot of good stuff happening with your dog, good boy, by playing tug. I think I've said this before, but it's worth saying again. If you're having any kinds of aggression issues with your dog, you do not want to play tug. Only because you don't want to teach them to bite and hold something. Give. Give. Good boy. So you can see he's sort of reluctant. He chews on it. He doesn't pull anymore, but he chews before he finally spits it out. Good boy. Wait. Wait. Take it. Good boy. Good boy. Jack loves to play tug with the other dogs in the house. You do need to monitor that to make sure that it also does not get out of control, which it can with dogs, especially if you have two dogs that neither of them will give up the toy. Good boy. Give. So I'm going to take his collar. Give. Good boy. The purpose of taking the collar is not to force him to do anything, but it prevents him from playing tug. Good boy. And that time, take it. I did not see him start. He didn't stop playing tug. He still continued to pull. Good boy. Good boy. Give. So there's that mouthy. Give. Ah. I just take the collar. Good boy. Tug is a game that people always need to win. Remember, the food is a reinforcement, but it's not as powerful as the toy. He would much rather have this than the food. The rules of tug are you initiate the game yourself. It's not initiated by your dog. You always win. You put impulse control on it, which is what we did today. He takes it when I tell him to. He gives when I ask him. He's still relinquishing the tug toy a little slow, but he's getting the idea. If your dog will not relinquish the toy, you're just going to gently take their collar. You don't hold them very strong. You just take it enough so that it prevents them from playing tug with you. You can see Jack get mouthy. As soon as he gives you the toy, reinforce them with a high-value treat. Make sure that he'll wait again until you instruct the dog to take the toy again. It's my toy. It's going to stay on my dining room table or my kitchen counter so that it's not something that Jack helps himself to. Okay. So we also did touch. This is not one I've done too much with him, but I want to show you how to do it again. So we're going to remind him about the game. Jack, touch. Good boy. Touch. Good boy. Touch. So the third one, he got a click and treat. Remember, variable reinforcement is very important. We're going to ask for a high touch. Touch. Good boy. Touch. Good boy. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, Jack, touch, is teach him to spin. Good boy. You should get the treat as he finishes the spin. I think Jack will spin both ways. Let's see. Jack, touch. Good boy. Now, he's really following my hand, right? He's not touching it all the way around. Jack. Ready? So here's an example, Jack, touch, of following. Good boy. Following. Good boy. I showed you last week when we were outside how I use the touch for the heel. There's a lot of fun things. Good boy. Touch. Touch. So he's getting stuck. Good boy. So I'm going to use a lure once. Help him out. He can't do it if he's sitting. Good boy. Yes, good boy. No lure, touch. Yes, good boy. I do have the treats ready in my hand. I don't want too many things to happen from the time he touches and spins. Touch. Yes. Before he gets the treat. So I don't want him to complete the spin, then I go in my bait bag, and all these other things have happened. Good boy. So let's go to a downstay. Jack, lie. Good boy. Stay. And I'm going to time this for just a bit. So when you're working on a stay, you need to intermittently give treats. I choose not to use the clicker for this exercise. It can be done with or without it. So at 16 seconds, I'm going to give him one, just to remind him what we're doing. And his goal is a very long downstay, which I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I think you'll all be bored watching this, but I want to show you how the treats get delivered. So we're at 30 seconds. I'm going to wait until 45 seconds. And when I do this alone, I sit in different chairs. I walk to the kitchen and back. I do different things. So we're at 45 seconds. So his stay is not dependent on me standing here looking at him, that I can pull up a chair and sit, and I will treat him for that because I changed my body position. If I do some rocking, I'm going to treat him for that because it's a change, it's a distraction. So we're just over a minute. I also do these around the house without a bait bag. Be sure when you're doing a downstay that you're bringing the treats directly to your dog, that you're not slowly coming in and inadvertently requiring them to get up to get the treat. So we're at 1:30. I'm just going to sit, stay. You can certainly tell them again. Sometimes I sit with a magazine and I pretend to be reading the magazine, and I look out away from him so that, again, the stay is not dependent on me being riveted on him. Good boy. So we're almost at 2. And I'm going to switch my position. So there's 2 minutes. I'm going to give him a few more treats. Again, this is harder when I have other dogs around. Stay. Now, if we want to add some additional distractions like this, you may do that. So you're going to toss the toy and give him a treat. So the tossing of the toy predicts something happening for him. We are paying the dog for his behavior. Good boy. This is not Jack's first time playing this game. Good boy. Now a stay command, I use it a lot when I'm in the kitchen preparing meals. I use it a lot when I'm eating. I'll ask the dog to come and lay down next to me and to stay there. So he particularly is not into mischief. I use it, ultimately it would be nice to use it when people come to the house, but he is not that refined at it. So we're at a little over 3 minutes. Good boy. But a nice stay command can be used in your car so that you can open your door, the dog will stay while you're getting your gear together, getting groceries out, whatever it is you're doing, and then you can release the dog from that position. My word for him to tell him he's all done is the word release. I do not use the word okay because I tend to say it too much in my everyday life. And here I have the dog on a downstay, and then I tell one of my children, oh, okay, sure, and the dog pops up. So, good boy. So you can also tell that he knows there's a game being played, that I am clearly paying attention to him and delivering treats. Now I'm just going to walk out of the frame. Stay. So I can put a little bit of distance. First is duration, which I've been working on with him. He has the duration. Then you can add distractions, which would be the tossing of the toys. The third thing you add is distance. As soon as you walk away from your dog, you lose all sorts of control. And so when I started this, I would just take a step away, I would turn back and give him a treat. I'd take a step away, I'd turn back and give him a treat. I would take a step away over here and turn back and give him a treat. Sometimes when you change your body position and you squat down, is a signal for the dogs to get up. So the same process, squat down, give your dog a treat, and you can get up. You can squat down again. Good boy. And you can get up. Good boy. Stay. It's nice to pretend to look out. Now the biggest distraction is when I say hello. So we're going to give that a shot. You may hear other dogs start barking when I do that. Hello. Good boy. Because when someone comes in the house, everybody says hello. And usually gets classically conditioned. You can see him looking around. Hello, come on in. Stay down. Jack, lie. 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 Good boy. So it's very funny to me that that's such a distraction to say, hello, come on in. Good boy. So we're going to do that again. I'm going to be better prepared. Right? The dog, always ask yourself, what is your dog telling you? My dog just told me that he's not ready for me to say, hello, come on in. lie. So remember, good boy, I'm working on distraction, so I'm standing right here with him. If I had walked away and added that distraction, lie. Stay. Good boy. And the other dogs in the house are barking, so that's got him a little worked up too. So we're going to keep giving him treats until things calm down. Good boy. Hello. Good boy. Hello. Lie. Good boy. Stay. Hello. So I'm looking right at him when I say it so I know exactly what he's doing. Good boy. This is a tough one, isn't it? Hello. Good boy. Come on in. Good boy. It's funny the things that distract our dogs. Hello. Good boy. Now I'm going to count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No more treats, and I'm going to release him. Release. He is going to get up. Sometimes he doesn't get up. Good boy. Okay. Now we're all worked up because of my hellos. Come on. Good boy. That's a good boy. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's a good boy. You're still very mouthy. Now, the other things that Jack is still working on is he's like a bull in a china closet. Every time I come up and down the stairs, I have to reinforce to him, Jack, sit. Reinforce to him that he cannot blow past me, knocking me over in the process. He's much better outside in that he no longer seems to use people as target practice, which he was before. He's starting to learn some to defer to human space, which is really what he needs to do. It's not there yet. He's a young dog. I don't know what his mix is. Clearly some St. Bernard, but that other mix in there is really strong-minded. I see it, I want it, I'm going to go and get it. So let's just review. We've done sits and downs, and his command for down is lie. We have done that all over in other episodes. I've done them in the kitchen. I've done them sitting on the couch. Last week we were outside. He worked in heel position. He was lying on the sidewalk in the store. He did some downstays in the store, all kinds of fun things. And we've done leave-its, which is a great, great command. If you were going to teach your dog 3 commands, I would teach them sit, to lie down, and to leave it on command. Well, I'd probably add come when called unless you had a fenced-in yard. The more English your dog knows, the more connected you'll feel to your dog, the better behaved your dog will be, the more fun it'll be to have people over or to take your dog places. It's a real pleasure to take Jack out in public now that he's had 4 weeks of training because he understands what I'm saying to him, and we can have some good times. When you're doing a stay, really, really resist working outside your dog's limits. So you want to first work on duration. Get a 1-minute stay, get a 2-minute stay, get a 3-minute stay, get whatever you want. Then add distractions, and then add distance. As soon as you increase your distance from the dog, you lose a lot of control. And you don't want your dog to keep popping up, keep popping up, keep popping up. Jack, leave it. Leave it. Good boy. I know, they're just sitting there. Huh? Good boy. Lie. Leave it. Good boy. Lie. Good boy. So I'll reinforce the lie, but I'm not going to reinforce that leave it. We reviewed the touch and some of the fun things you can do with touch. Lie. Jack. Leave it. Good boy. Lie. Good boy. So I don't want to have to keep going through this. See if that helps. Good boy. There's a lot of fun things you can do with touch. You can teach the heel command. You can teach spin. You can teach them to go and target other things by transferring that touch command to your slippers, your newspaper, anything that you want to. Okay. So thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Doggy Dilemmas, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
If you have a doggy dilemma, Denise can help. Visit www.denisemazzola.com for more information. Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer tested through the Association of Pet Dog Trainers. The association requires recertification every 3 years with a minimum of 30 hours of continuing education. She has been training dogs and working with families for over 20 years.